name is Karen Cueva, and I interned at Eastside Medical Center this semester, and my mentor was Rosita, my main mentor. My responsibilities once I started going to my practices were to make baby baggies and mommy baggies, and these are bags that the nurses put together, and they're made specifically for babies. Like, they have test tubes in them specifically so that they can put blood samples in to then later take to the lab, for testing and stuff. And same thing with mommy baggies, test tubes, and like other cords and like bandages that they would need, after giving birth. And as I started going in more and more, I got to help move patients in from room to room. So as soon as a mother would give birth, she would have to be transported to mother baby. And obviously she can't, leave the bed, or sometimes she would have to be carried in a wheelchair. And I would have to be there, to help them, because sometimes the nurses are really busy, and I was always there to fill in. Other times there's this chute, transporter, an envelope chute thing, and when we need medicines from other sections of the hospital, it flies in, and sometimes stuff needs to be taken to NICU, if there's a premature baby that needs help. And I would run in, take the errands in case the nurses were busy. And then, other stuff, like the days that weren't as busy, I'd have to do paperwork, and then, go and copy stuff in the copy machine. And over the course of everything, I did complete about 40 hours. Learning experiences, I learned many social skills, because it is interaction with other people, especially working in an adult field. And you have to learn to talk properly with everybody, make yourself understandable. And it helps with face-to-face interactions, especially with patients, always smiling, making sure that they are comfortable and well tended to. And a patient's confidentiality is always preserved, and it's very important, because confidentiality between yourself and what you know about another person is very important, especially working with other patients and in the medical field. And then patience is key, and I learned that because the nurses will run around throughout the day attending numerous amount of patients. And throughout that, you have to have enough patience to deal with, if another patient is nagging, then you have to attend to somebody else, and you have to keep yourself together so that it doesn't overwhelm you. In the future, there's pros obviously in the medical field because it is a high-paying job, and obviously people are always going to get sick, so there is a high demand for those working in the field. And the healthcare job, careers is lucrative, obviously. And then it provides many social interactions that you get to grow within yourself, and then you can make an impact on someone's life. People are coming into the hospital for help specifically, for you to assist in whatever pains or aches they're having, and it's just great to walk out one day and having known that you helped somebody else. There's cons, obviously. If you want to be a doctor in the medical field, there's a lot of schooling that is required, and it can take a long time depending on what you want to specialize in. And then many hours of the week you spent working, and you don't necessarily get as much free time as you would if you were to get another job. And then there is always the exposure to illnesses. You're more vulnerable to get sick. There's a lot of germs running around in the hospital. I think it's more cleaner, but it's just the amount of people that are in and out of the day. And then it's a stressful work environment. You're facing many situations in which you need to think about how you're going to approach certain people, especially with patients. Hiring outlook. During the 2010-2020 jobs, the medical fields are expected to have an outlook of 22%, which is more than the average 14%. And it's projected that the employment change from 2010 to 2020 is 68,000 people, which is very good for anybody trying to specialize in this field. Memories. My first a C-section, it's, they have it in a surgery room, and I stand behind the door, and it's glass, so I can see what's going on, and it was really cool to see the surgeon, you know, you don't expect a C-section to happen the way you would. You know, I saw the whole process, opening up the stomach, then the uterus, and then finally taking out the baby, and then watching him sew everything back up, and you know, it's a lot of blood, and you would think it takes a while, but surgeons usually go in there in less than an hour. And then I watched my first vaginal birth, which is totally different because I'm actually in the patient's room observing her give birth, and you know, I say hi, and watch, and I'm like, hi, I'm sitting here. I know it might be a little awkward, I'm gonna watch you, but yeah, it's for learning purposes. And then this is kind of unusual, but there was a miscarriage, and I was fortunate enough to be there that day, so I got to actually see the little fetus in its box, and it was sad. It was a really sad day, but you know, it's kind of more of a learning experience for me. And then personal learning and growth. Throughout this internship, I've learned, you know, to work my communication skills with people, and the patients are always the priority. You know, you tend to then make sure that they're okay, make sure that they're not aching, and it's like your responsibility to make sure that they're going to be okay at all times. You know, you want to please the patient. And thanks to the time there, I've definitely want to be in the medical field. I've learned that I just love working with people, and I don't think I'm going to necessarily want to be a nurse. It is more interaction, you know, with people, but I plan to be a surgeon, and not necessarily with babies, but with children, so in pediatrics. And then this is my tutor, Rosita. She's my favorite. She's awesome. And this is Miss Jeanette Holland. She's like an assistant surgeon. And then this is Katie. And this is Amy and Michelle. They're really cool. And I love interning.